I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm a prospect and I'm thinking about applying to this university. So, higher ed institutions have, we're seeing them as having three different constituents. We've got the prospective student, the actual student, and then the alumni. And it's true that universities sometimes have constituents outside of that as well. University of New Hampshire has more of like a newsletter that goes out to different groups of people. There's a lot of ways universities can use email, but we're going to focus on those three core groups right now. And so I'm going to walk you through how we would manage that relationship. So let's just say that Justin Verlander is going to apply, and he has an email address, and he has a military service background, and he also needs financial aid. And so we're going to go ahead and submit him. Let me just make sure I haven't used, and I have that email address. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead, and he's going to apply to learn more about this university. And so now when I come back into our contacts and I look at who's new this week, and I refresh this, here's Justin Verlander. And we can see that we sent him this mail for military prospects because his military checkbox was checked. And financial aid applicant, we've also placed him. So we placed him into two campaigns, a military prospects and a financial aid campaign. Financial aid hasn't been set up to send any mail. This could just be a holding list for a follow-up phone call. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the email that we've sent him. We've sent him a canned kind of response, and we say, tell us about your service. So then here, our form can obviously update. I don't know, flew in, where did he fly? Let's go with Vietnam. And then he submits. Of course, we update him, right? So now he has a military background. And let's say we then go ahead and make him a student, right? So he actually is going to get a university email address. So he's been accepted, and he gets a university email address, and we're going to make that his preferred. So note that email is kind of is a funky, not funky, but it's a evolving relationship with email, because universities will have email address, in-house email addresses, and so that's just something we need to be prepared to manage. And so you'll notice that now when I add him to a primary department, let's say he's going to do American Studies. Let's save that. We can add him to his American Studies newsletter. And the email address we're going to be sending to is his university email address. So now, even though Justin here, when we originally were communicating with him, was at Seth 06, now he's at Seth 07. Same person, but getting mail through the university system now. And so now he's getting his, American Studies department mail, and that's really easy for the professor to send because we've got it inside of the eMaker, right? And so here, the American Studies department doesn't have to see the recruiting or the alumni stationery. They can just see their own student stationery, because in this case, we're using business units as well. So if you noticed here at the campaign level, we said that the business unit is students. So for the American Studies newsletter, the professor doesn't have to wade through other newsletters. They can just see the ones that they need to make it easier for, for a professor. They don't want to design email. They just want to put in their message and then have everything else as stationary. And then let's say that Justin graduates. Yay, congratulations. He becomes an alumni. And so now we can add him to our alumni newsletter. And we can take advantage of the data architecture using our dynamic content. So that way someone who maybe did serve in the military can see different content than someone that didn't. So alumni news, they get their mail about Mr. Barry Barish, class of 57. But here, the stay in touch with fellow military servicemen and women, that's only showing up for Justin because we know that he served. And so that allows us to start taking advantage of some of those specific higher ed data fields while still allowing the alumni office to simply be given their template, put in their news up here, and then we use our dynamic content to just tell that person, when applicable, something special based on the demographic information that the higher ed data architecture has. And so that is a quick overview of HEDA, and kind of a really glancing over the top of ways that both the prospective student department, the actual professors themselves, and then the alumni can take advantage of predictive and the higher ed data architecture.